get caught, 'cause now you're living life, caught in a paradigm, caught in the sands of time, caught up in the paradigm. They are the harder to choose, destined to take it all, battered and broken and beaten away. Time that leads you astray. Don't get caught, don't get caught, 'cause now you're living the lie, caught in a paradigm, caught up in the sands of time, caught in a paradigm. Close your eyes, caught in a paradigm, caught up in the sands of time, caught in a paradigm.
Nice, guys.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. I'm here with Concrete Angels, a couple friends of mine. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
What's up, everyone? I'm Wilshire. I sing and play guitar.
All right. Chris Hall, and I try to play guitar.
We're doing the best we can.
Yeah, you guys sound amazing. This is, you know, what's cool is you guys had your stuff together. So you showed up, and I was like, well, let's get here early, make sure we got everything, and we had these guys dialed in, and like it was like one take.
Yeah.
It was like done, and you guys are just tight as hell. I mean, just super tight. Those harmonics and all the things you guys do together, it's just perfect. It just sounds so good.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
You know, and and the studio tracks are great too. I mean, where'd you guys engineer all this at? And,
you know, it's been a long process, especially me and this guy, but we recorded a lot of the stuff in my basement, in my basement studio at home. Now, when I say recorded, we basically laid down the raw tracks,
okay,
you know, for good guitar, bass, stuff like that. I'm not necessarily great at engineering, so we found an engineer. I actually found him online. His name is Sieb. Shout out to Sieb in Germany. Yeah, Sebastian Lieberman. He made our stuff sound great. So I sent it over to him. Working 5,000 miles away from each other, he reamped everything in his studio. He's got a real nice studio over there.
Okay.
He's got a band of his own that's, you know, once I listened to their tracks and then I saw that he had mixed and mastered everything, I was like, man, this is the guy that we need to send our stuff to. And it came back sounding really good.
It just sounds thunderous. The drums, everything. It sounds really lively. There's a lot of great energy in the mix. And, you know, just so you guys know, I mean, these guys there's no backup guitar tracks. These guys are playing all the guitars, all the leads, all the rhythms, everything. The only thing that you're hearing, you know, are the you know, the backing tracks, like the drums, the bass, you know, and stuff like that. But so, and it just sounds phenomenal.
Thank you.
So I have the Kemper. You're using the Kemper,
Mm-hmm.
and you're using the Helix, and I got them panned. so you can hear, you know, the separation between them. So just so you know, that's what you're listening to. So let's go over. Well, before we go over band history, let's say hello to everybody real
Sure.
quick. I'm just gonna do the romper room. I see Joey. I see Timmy. You know, so we'll go ahead and Johnny Romero. He's here first. What's up, buddy? Good to see you.
What's up, Johnny?
Thanks for
Yeah.
coming, brother.
Dave Rebel. Awesome. Derek Samp, a local
All
local
right.
friend
There
of
you go,
ours.
Dirty D. What's up, brother?
Thanks for
The
stopping
Big
by.
D unit.
Yes,
And,
sir. Love Derek.
Kyle Hart, Sean Casey, Compton, Macaro, sorry if I'm pronouncing names
Straight
wrong.
out of Compton.
That's right. James Dunn, what's up, buddy? Carrie, hey.
Hey, what's up, Carrie?
What's up, woman? Sean Casey, I already said hi, but I'll say hello again. JB50 Watt, what's happening, man? Bruno, Kool-Aid Man, hey, Kool-Aid. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, thanks for joining us tonight. This will be a fun night because I don't have to play tonight. I get to let these guys do it all, and I can chill out and listen to some awesome music. And you guys are in for a treat. Like, this stuff is amazing. Really, really very likable music. I liked it right away. This is the first I've heard any of this stuff. And I'm sitting in the chair listening to you guys play, and I'm like, holy crap, this is going to be a good live stream. Some really good stuff here.
Well, you know,
so.
the tracks that you're hearing, I actually emailed the Sieb guy, and I said, hey, we're going to be on this show called Tone Wars. I shared the link and everything, and he was willing to basically strip out the guitar and the vocals so that we could have this here
That was
tonight,
very
so.
cool of him
Yeah.
to do.
Sieb has been a godsend for us, man.
Yeah.
He's so awesome.
Yeah, when you find a good engineer, it's kind of like finding a good person to cut your hair. You know,
Yeah.
because bad haircuts suck, and you find a good one, you stick with them, right?
Right.
Yes.
So, and as before I move on to the next segment here, I can't recommend this enough, and I've been doing this myself for years. When you go to the studio, always have the engineer take your parts out of the song and send you that mix so that you can practice anytime you want.
Mm-hmm.
You can do band practice anytime you want, and it's awesome. And if you have a twin guitar player band, have both parts taken out as well. Have one where just yours is taken out, and have one where both of them are taken out, so that you guys can practice together.
Yeah.
You know, so on the tour bus, in the tuning room, whatever, or just at your house. I mean, I just think it's essential because everything's time aligned and perfect, and it helps you get a good meter.
Yeah.
You know,
That's great advice.
That's,
Yeah.
Wish I'd have done that years
Yeah,
ago.
no doubt. We've been practicing along with the tracks, in-ears.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that's one of the reasons why we're tight. And when we practice, it's always with in-ears, and that's been a game changer. Because when you're in the basement, you got real drums and
Yeah.
big amps.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It just
been
gets
there.
so loud, and you don't know. Like there'll be certain times like, oh, you played that? That's cool.
Yeah.
You know, I've been playing that way for 3 years, but
Yeah,
you can't
exactly.
hear it because
Exactly.
it's just overpowering.
Yeah.
It's so
So
true.
if you can afford the in-ears, man, it is
Do it.
definitely a
a game
great
changer.
investment. So
Well, when you can hear the details associated with everybody else's parts, it's going to have you like tune into that and go, well, I didn't know you were like what you said. I didn't know you were doing that. Well, I'm going to key into that and actually
Exactly.
accentuate it. Or when you hear all those details, because otherwise you get in the studio and the engineer's like, dude, you're playing your part wrong, or you
Yeah.
could be doing so much more. And because in the studio you can hear everything.
Right.
So it really does make you a better player.
You can't hide, at that point.
Exactly. You can't hide, and it makes you a better player. And I hate practicing to a metronome, but if the drums are all time aligned anyways, there's your metronome.
That's your metronome.
And it's a
Yeah.
more fun thing to do,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So
you feel like you're actually jamming with your band as opposed to.
exactly, I know.
It's like-
And just so you know, too, you guys out there watching, the first time you use in-ears, you're going to hate them. You're going to hate how you sound. You're going to hate how everything sounds. You're going to think you suck because everything's going to be more, it's tattooed to your brain now.
Yeah.
So, but give it time. Give it a couple weeks. I always tell everybody, give it like 3 weeks and then really hone in and dial everything in properly. And you'll never, ever play without in-ears
Yep.
again. I mean, it's definitely the way to go.
you can't hide behind the wall of sound anymore.
Exactly.
You know, and the high gain amplifiers when you hear it, and then like if I hit the wrong note from him or he hits the wrong note, I mean it's
No.
you hear it, man. Me
Especially
play
if you're
the
a band.
wrong note,
Yeah.
me sing the wrong lyrics. I didn't do that in the last song at all.
That's so true. There's something to be said about that, and also your own, especially as guitar players, your tone.
Yeah.
Because you're hearing pretty much what the audience is hearing. So
Yeah.
to actually have that right in your ear hole is like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's a little harsh, or,
Yeah.
or whatever it is. You know? So it
Exactly.
helps you hone in a lot better.
Exactly. No, it really does make a difference. It really does, you know. So, all right, so let's go to band history. How did you two meet?
Well, I actually met this guy in high school. He used to live in Milan. I used to live in Saline. And he came to a computer servicing class. He actually came from Milan on a bus out to Saline. And we met. And I just remember talking to him one time, like, I play the guitar. Oh, so do I. Oh, yeah, one of my favorite bands is Metallica. It's me, too.
Yeah.
All right, so we're getting together to play guitar then.
Dude, the first time we played, I lugged all my stuff over to his house, and I started playing, I think it was Leopard Messiah.
Yeah.
And this guy, no hesitation, turned his volume up and joined me. And I was like, oh, dude,
Yeah.
we're going to get along just fine.
Nice.
And we played
Yeah.
most of that song together, and it was like...
That's awesome.
It was,
And then we kind of didn't see each other there for about, 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
And then one day I get a random text being like, hey, man, we're going to this party, Justin. And I'm like, who is this?
Yep.
He's like, oh, this is Chris. We used to jam together in high school. And I'm like, well, shoot, man, like I'm trying to start this band. Why don't we need another guitar player. And then that was
how you started. That's how you
yeah,
got
dude,
together.
I was going to a work party, and my coworker's name was Justin, and I just happened to have his number saved from whatever 6, 7, 8 years ago. And I texted him. I said, hey, you still having a party Saturday? And he's like, who the hell is this? And I was like. And
So
then
it
we
was a
put 2 and
mistake.
2 together, and it was like, oh, it's you, Justin. And then, yeah, like he said, it's like, I just happen to be starting a band right now, and so,
Wow.
Need another
So-
guitar player. Come
yeah,
jam.
and this is years later.
Wow, man.
I remember walking into that first jam session, you and Jarrod and Justin, and you guys were already jamming when I walked in, and I had this
Different
old...
Jarrod, by the way.
Yeah,
Jared,
Our old bass
Our
player,
old bass
Jarrod.
player was Jared.
Yeah, shout out to Jarrod, but I had this old rickety amp. It was from the 70s, old PV amp that was like creaky when you set it down.
Yeah.
It would rattle and stuff, and I had a little like metal zone pedal, and I was a little rusty on guitar, man. I see this guy shredding solos right when I turn the corner, and I'm hearing, how thunderous everything sounded. I'd never been in a band before, and I was like, man, like I felt like I was out of my league at first.
But look where you are today.
Well, hey, yeah,
So
it
that-
all worked out.
That's a testament right there. Like, don't be intimidated because you don't have the gear or even maybe all the chops that you need, because a band is a learning experience. And when you join a band, you're going to level up. No matter how good you are, you're
Yeah.
going to level up. You know, I mean, Paul Gilbert can join a band right now, and it's going to challenge him in ways, and
Yeah.
he's going to have to,
Yeah.
it's just, at whatever aspect he needs to level up, or anybody needs to level up. It's just the way it is. So don't get intimidated by that. I mean, it's a good thing. I love being around people who actually make me better, force me to be better, you know, and you guys definitely have something special.
Thank you.
I'm not just saying that because, you're my buddies and you're at my house and whatnot, but I mean, it just sounds incredible. I mean, I'm enjoying the crap out of this. It just sounds
Thanks,
really
man.
good. You guys are super tight. I probably just jinxed you, but
Well,
you
you're
know.
saying leveling up, man. Like this, when he first joined the band, I'm like, hey, man, play guitar solo, improvise over this, and he'd never done any of that stuff before. And now, like you said, I feel like you challenge me, and I hope I challenge you.
Yeah.
Try to push each other to make the best music that we can.
You guys complement each other very well. The one thing that I noticed right away was a lot of the how you guys utilize the fact that you're two different guitar players.
Yes.
And you'll take the parts where you're like, oh, all right, well, Justin's playing a bunch of chords.
Yep.
I'm going to do, because you're singing. I mean, it's not like you're going to do all this intricate stuff while you're singing. So
Yes.
you fill in the holes with all these different riffs and stuff, and you'll use different effects, which you guys will hear. So listen to what these guys are doing tonight, and listen to how they take their own separate roads, but they're still going in the same direction. You know what I mean? And it's just so cool how these guys are putting all their music together. They're not just going, yeah, let's just play the same stuff. I mean, why do that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're going to be another guitar player, why not utilize that space? And
Yeah,
you know,
and it's also, for the listener, you're automatically going to have a big tone when you have two guitar players in
Sure,
a band.
of course,
But
yeah.
if you can throw a little spice in there where you're kind of like both guitars aren't playing exactly the same thing,
Yep.
it's kind of like perks your ears up.
Yep.
And I like doing that. I like give them a
Exactly.
little spice and then
Just
come
throw a
back home.
little-
Come back home. Give them a little spice, come back home.
Yep, throw a little stuff out there,
Yeah.
and it really makes a big difference. I'm just queuing up the next song before we
good.
go into the next.
I read in the Guitar World magazine a long time ago. They were interviewing Tool, and Adam Jones and Justin Chancellor. And then one of the things that they said that stuck with me is when one goes high, the other one goes low.
Mm-hmm.
So you're constantly, so you don't want everyone, I mean, there's certain parts you're chunking, you know, and it's real heavy, but like we do that a lot, man. Like, so like if I'm singing a lot, I'll be chunking on chords, and then he'll go and start playing a lead lick, you know, and, you know, like, and try to create sound and space, you know, like he plays a guitar solo. I'm not going to be dun, 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 dun. I'm just going to hit the open chords and let it breathe a little bit, and let him have the room to be able to play, you know, lead guitar and stuff like that, you know, like little things like that make a big difference.
What I'm hearing here is it's like the perfect example of serve the song.
Yeah,
exactly.
Do what's right for the song.
Exactly.
Do what's right for the
not
song.
for your ego, not for, you know, trying to cram your riff in when it doesn't belong.
Yeah,
do
you're
what's
not
right for the
shoehorning
song.
anything in there. You're just
Exactly.
doing your thing. And this music, you can tell these guys definitely serve the songs very well.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jarrod.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And one last question before we go into two more songs is who do you draw inspiration from?
Metallica, Tool,
Besides me.
Pantera. Yeah, you.
kidding.
Tell them more.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I listen to a lot of stuff, man. I love Hendrix. I love the Beatles, like Van Morrison. But then I also like Pantera, Metallica, and Tool, and Rage Against the Machine, Soundgarden. You know, I cut my teeth on Chili Peppers, and you know, Smashing Pumpkins and Alice in Chains. So I mean,
Wow, pretty eclectic.
I can go through like 50 bands, man.
Same here. I'm self-taught, never taken a lesson in my life, and I used to be on IRC chat rooms back in the day, if anybody knows what IRC, Internet Relay Chat. That's how freaking old I am. And I remember this guy telling me, I've told him this before, he said, if you want to, I was 15 years old at the time, he said, if you want to learn triplets, listen to Metallica, number 3 on the Injustice
Eye of the
Row.
Beholder.
Yeah, Eye of the Beholder. And it's
Yes.
and I would sit there and once I discovered triplets, I was like, holy crap, like
Triplets.
I can do triplets. Holy crap, I can do triplets. And then from then forward it was like, so in a way I learned from listening to bands like Metallica, Megadeth, big inspiration by Dave Mustaine, phenomenal guitar
That's
player.
nice, man.
Classic 80s metal, man.
That's awesome. So before we go on to the next song, let me just explain something. I'm going to count these guys in because we don't have a click to count them in, so that's why it sounds a little bit weird.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
If
So
the first couple measures are off, that's why.
yeah, that's why. Cause
we'll get into the groove.
Yeah, I count and then I push play and then hopefully everything lines up. But just putting that out there. So Carrie says, and chemistry. So
Yes.
she's definitely picking up on the chemistry. Carrie's big on that when we were in bands and stuff. I mean, she enjoyed the chemistry so much. Where you know how the nights where you know someone shows up with a riff. And then at the end of the night, everybody's covered in sweat, but you got a song, and everyone's like,
yeah.
You know?
It's almost like magic where it'll just happen. 1, 2, 3, 4. He'll add something. I'll add something. And it's like, did we just write like almost a whole song?
Yeah.
Did we just become
man.
best friends?
Yeah.
Yup.
Let's go do karate in the garage.
Exactly. That's what I mean. You go do karate in the garage afterwards.
And then 8 months later, we'll write some lyrics.
Yeah, no.
No, it's the way it is, man. So Sherry says hi too. Awesome. Tell Sherry we said hi, Dave. Nathan Cloud, what's going on? Paul Smith.
Paul Reed Smith?
Yeah, I was gonna say. What's up?
I'm sure it's not the first time you've heard that, Paul.
Yeah. We got some power over there.
So Nathan Cloud's asking, I wonder how loud it is in person. Actually, it's funny. I was just telling these guys. So we're all using in-ears, and there's no studio monitors on because of the mic. It'll feed back. So Chris is using a Kemper, Justin's using the Helix, and the backing tracks are coming from the iPad. So when you take out your in-ears, all you hear is plucky, plucky, strum, strum. It just sounds funny.
And then me yelling.
So it's quiet as a church mouse in the room, you know. So, yeah. Anyway, so let's go ahead and start the next two songs. There'll be a little bit of delay between.
What are we playing next?
Yeah.
You were playing.
Jarrod, help.
I don't know. What are you playing?
I
next?
think
set list?
the one you hate,
Oh,
I think
okay.
was next
Number
on the
2.
docket.
So whatever. I'm not
Is there a
seeing.
file
that.
name there?
If it's the one you hate, this one starts off with lyrics, so I'll just jump in.
Oh, okay. So you want me to double check that?
Yeah,
Let
double
me
check
double check
that.
that.
'Cause we pulled a bit of this together about 20 minutes ago.
So one's bear with me here,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. Nobody leave. Okay,
Yeah.
don't be going
We're
anywhere.
gonna figure it out.
Yeah,
I
we're
promise.
figuring out the song we're gonna play.
Yes, the one you hate.
The one you
Into.
hate,
Into the devil came.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
And well, before we get started on this, the Devil Came is the beginning of the Devil Came is one of the riffs that's in the song. It's the version of us playing in the basement. That the very first rendition of that riff.
So what Jarrod said a couple minutes ago, sometimes you get together, sometimes a song just kind of happens. That was a night where that song just kind of happened.
Yeah.
And you'll hear in the intro, it's the next song we're going to play, but the intro ended up being a way heavier version of the intro of The Devil Came. So stick around for that and see if you can hear the difference. It's
Sweet.
That was like a hodgepodge of riffs from a couple of different jam sessions and a couple riffs that he had laying around.
Awesome.
And I found that like 6 months later, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to put that as the intro for that song so you can kind of hear the A-B to it. So
All right,
Let's
cool.
go, baby.
Well, here we go,
the
guys.
one you hate, first up.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
I wanna show you your mistakes and be the one to point the blame. I wanna be the one you hate. I wanna be the one you hate. I wanna twist it till you break and be the one to point the blame. I wanna be the one you hate. Say it's underground, so cannot be found. There's nothing left for me. They say there's nothing left for me. They say it's underground, your soul cannot be found. There's nothing left for me. They say there's nothing left for me. I wanna be the one you hate and make you see you've gone to waste and let your mind's empty space. I wanna be the one you hate. I wanna be the one you hate. I wanna twist it till you break and be the one to put the blame. I wanna be the one you hate. They say it's underground, your soul cannot be found. There's nothing left for me. They say there's nothing left for me. They say it's underground, your soul cannot be found. There's nothing left for me. They say there's nothing left for me. They say it's underground, your soul cannot be found. There's nothing left for me. They say there's nothing left for me. They say it's underground, your soul cannot be found. There's nothing left for me. They say there's nothing left for me.
That song is called The One You Hate. This next one is called The Devil Came. All of these are going to be off our new record, which releases on Saturday, May 21st.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Without a clue, the one who knows you, but you already do. He tells you how, sell to you his master plan. Take passage now, far away to foreign lands. But ricochet, knowing what you came to do. The message sold like you, but you already do. On the day that the devil came, on the day that the devil takes your soul, you're gonna live for eternity. That's what they said. Lies are told, feeble minds are forced to choose. The serpent's tongue never does it whisper truth. The merchant sings blindly, then they follow you. The message sold by you, but you already knew. On the day that the devil came, on the day that the devil takes your soul, you're gonna live for eternity. That's what they said. Yeah, the time has come, gather round to pay your dues. Let's stay all run, how was I supposed to choose? So raise this glass, give this world your last salute. Mistaken truth, taking life from me and youth. On the day that the devil came, on the day that the devil takes your soul, you're gonna live for eternity. That's what they said. Yeah. All right, man. 2 in a row. That was nice, man.
Thank you.
Freaking nice. I love everybody's giving you some nice compliments on the sound and how tight you are. And
Great.
Yeah,
love it.
People are loving the guitar tones, so they were wondering what profiles you're playing.
Oh, well, let me tell you. Thanks to this guy right here. So me and Jarrod got together a couple months ago.
Yeah,
now.
a couple months ago.
And he was nice enough to invite me over. We hung out for a little while, and he profiled the Stealth for me, and that's the profile that I'm playing tonight.
Yeah, we did some custom profiles, and we had a good hang and had a lot of fun. And I'll be honest, like I was a little nervous because you came over with something that you were happy with and you were using, and you were like, yeah, this is good. And I didn't hear it. I just said, okay, let's go downstairs. Or maybe I did hear it before. I don't remember if we played it before.
You know what it was? We were upstairs, and we set it up. I jammed a little bit. It was actually a profile from another, big name profiler out there. And I don't know if you knew who did it or whatever, but I did have a tone that I kind of liked. And we just kind of came down here with a blank slate, no expectations, and had some fun. And, man, it's night and day. This profile is... We played one show after that at the Blind Pig, actually, where we're playing this Saturday. And... So I'm actually direct, and going direct with that profile was, I mean, we got so many compliments that night.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That really is awesome. And that was the thing, like, so we came down here, we profiled it. You picked the amp, and I was like, well, dial it in with your guitar, your pickups, and everything. And then that's what we did. And then I was like, all right, let's do it. So we shot some profiles, and then we set up your effects and all that kind of stuff. And then... we went back upstairs and plugged into the same monitors that we started with. And I was like, okay, because I set up 2 presets, one with your before, the one that you came with, and then mine. And I'm just like, I'm going to feel so embarrassed if he likes the other one better, because I didn't tell him which one. So we swapped back and forth, and I was like, all right, you pick which one you think is better. And he liked the one that we did here. And
dude, it was night and day, dude.
It was.
You could say it.
Just trying to be humble.
No, it's okay, man. You did a great job. And I mean, credit to the Stomp,
baby.
one of the best amps out there. But you did a great job profiling it, just taking the time, and your profiles are fantastic, dude. I've used several of your other profiles and bought a couple of your packs, and you got it down, bro.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but I mean, once you nail an amp, it's like you got to print that one.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, all right.
Capture it.
Yeah, and you know what's funny about profiling is sometimes you can nail an amp and you don't touch anything and you hit it again and profile it again and it's not as good.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah, and you're like, what the hell?
Well, we even noticed that doing the stealth. You didn't really change hardly anything, if anything at all, and you just get a little bit different. So.
Yep. So it's just weird. The Kemper can be a little quirky sometimes, but it does do a great job,
Yeah.
So, and then you just pretty much dialed in your own stuff, right?
I dialed in my own stuff. I got the Minotaur in front of the amp.
Okay.
I got the Rev, I want to say the Rev Red.
Okay.
The generator, generator,
so,
red channel.
And I got the 1960 cabinet, 2 of those stacked.
Okay.
EQ, high low pass EQ.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it for my main tone. I got, a little bit of a chorus and stuff, reverb.
Okay.
Chorus for clean tone, a little bit of reverb, and actually cheat. I do a little bit of reverb, but I actually put a phaser for my lead tone because I was trying to dial in the delay and I couldn't really get it. And I was like, well, let's try this phaser. And I found when I turned down the phaser, it kind of gave me a bigger tone. So I'm like, all right, I'll just kind of stick with this.
Sweet, man.
So it works.
Just in the mix, just a little
Just
bit,
a tiny
15%,
bit, man. Yeah,
something like that, just to add a little more fullness.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I have a little bit of a different sound. I get a little more bite for my lead tones. But
No, it sounds good though. I mean, you guys, the tones complement each other.
yes.
Pretty well. So
I think so too. Individually, it's like, okay, sure.
Yeah,
but
they sound
together,
great.
you know how you don't really want that exact same tone in
No.
both ears, especially when you're paying left
You want
and right.
this
Yeah,
instead
exactly.
of this.
Right.
You want this.
Yes,
it
because
makes
then you
it
get
bigger.
weird phasing issues
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, you want that
I
big
think
sound.
it works well together.
It really does, and like I said, I got you guys panned so people can hear the difference. I believe you're on the left in my ears anyways.
Yes, yep.
Yeah, and then you're on the right for people out there.
Yeah, I'm on the right.
Yeah, so yeah, Kool-Aid Man was asking the profiles, and let me make sure I get everyone else's comments.
I love, man. You
here.
get good interaction with your people, man. That's cool.
Yeah, that's how we roll here, man. We love our audience. So, Kyle Hart, still waiting for Brutal Pack 2. Thank you. It's done. I just have to categorize it and upload it. So I will get that done for you. What's today?
Wednesday.
I should know that because I go
Tell me,
live.
brother.
Yeah, I should have it up within the next week or so. I've been slammed at work, and it's just I need to take the time to come down here and do it right. But I will have them up for you, so I apologize for the wait. And the Leviathan will be in there. And the Leviathan profiles came out nice.
Did they?
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
It was one of the first amps I saw. I was like, ooh, that wasn't here last time.
That's a sexy girl there.
She's
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm blocking the Leviathan.
How dare you?
I'll Vanna White it.
Vanna White. All right, so what was your guys' recording process? What was your songwriting process like?
We touched on it a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
So, recording in the basement.
Yeah.
But the thing is, so a couple of years ago, our bass player left the band, and so we were searching for another bass player, and that gave us a chance. Me and Justin spent so many hours in my basement fine tuning the songs. Does this chorus go here? Should it have a bridge? How's the solo? Is it too long, too short? And so it gave us a chance to fine tune these songs, and so a lot of it was done in our basement. And actually, the drums that you hear on this album are very much our drummer's drums, like what he would play. But we actually did those using I don't know if I could say the brand name, but Superior Drummer.
Superior Drummer. Yeah.
And so what I did was I exported. Painstakingly, you guys know how that is. If you've ever programmed drums, it's each hit one at a time.
Yep.
And you also don't want it to be not realistic, right? So making sure it's not perfectly aligned to the grid, have some swing, have some variation in the velocities and stuff. So we basically spent a year doing all that stuff, with the help of course with Bill too. And then I exported all those, and that's where these drum tracks largely came from, is Superior Drummer 3 with the magic touch of Sieb, our recording engineer in Germany.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to have, all that tech now, because, the drums sound amazing, you know what I mean? And these days, to rent a room at a recording studio,
that's most of the cost right there.
$2 and also you got to nail it first take, second take.
Yeah, if you're having a bad day,
Yeah.
Well, you're paying by the hour, and then the first day is getting the drum sound.
Yeah.
That's
getting
literally
all set up and the mic set up. Yeah.
Mics and all the stuff, and then afterwards you gotta freaking, record everything, and then it gets time aligned regardless. So it's like, I get the fact that you want that human feel and all that, and I totally respect that. But then it's like, okay, well, how much do you want to pay for that?
Yeah.
Number one. And number two, like you were saying with the software, it does allow it to sway a little. So it's kind of nice, Well,
it's a catch-22, because if you just click and drag, every velocity hit will be at maximum, and they'll be perfectly aligned to the grid. So there is a bit of finesse. You got to go in there and mess around with it a little bit to get that real feel. But that's me and Bill sat down. Bill's our drummer. We really went through things and made it authentic to what you would play. And of course, we didn't have to go in and rent out a studio for a week to accomplish what we did.
And that could cost thousands.
Sure.
And then you got to pay the engineer to time align everything afterwards, and snap it all to a
which is
grid.
more labor on the back end. Yeah.
Exactly. So you can, and that's just drums, and now you got to do all the other stuff. So these days with so much DIY recording, situations. I totally understand why people utilize tech, and there's even big bands. There's friends of ours that are signed to big labels that that's all they do. The drummer usually just shows up and says, well, this is how I play it, and he okays everything, but he doesn't ever touch a drum, because it's all just done. But he's still got to play it on tour, and he does. We got friends that do that, and, he plays it on tour all the time, and he's an excellent drummer. But, he could put his, he can get a stick up his rear end and say, no, I got to record all this with real drums and stuff, and I totally respect that as well. But when you're on a production line at a studio that's got to get you out for the next band, the engineer's typically going to be like, I feel you, bro, but can you do it all in one take? Because you got to be out of here by the end of tomorrow.
Right.
Because I got another band coming in. It's like,
and then
no.
the thing is, like, if you want to redo something, you're not going to get that same sound if you tear everything down and then bring it back.
Exactly.
The mic placement might be a little bit different.
Exactly.
You bump one knob or move the snare mic a little bit.
You got one try. Once it's set up, and like you said, you're paying for it too. So
you're paying
when,
lots.
When you only have X amount of dollars, it's like, okay, well, we still want to come out with this album. Then you got merchandise and
crazy.
CDs. So there's a lot to it, man. So we try to do as much of it ourselves as we can. But
it's nuts how it adds up like that, man. And you know, on a DIY kind of situation, I mean, how much do you make on your music? I mean, you know, you get a couple spins on, well, even if you get thousands of spins on Spotify and all the other
doesn't mean
platforms.
$8.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
We got
exactly.
10 million streams.
Yeah.
Here's $100. You know.
Yeah.
Well, and the old adage is true, man. Bands, you know, we don't make money off the radio. We don't make money off of streams. We don't make money off of YouTube, you know, very much. It's when you come to the shows, you support your local bands, you buy a T-shirt, you buy the album, and even then, we're not making a boatload of money, but that's
Keeps the ship afloat.
That's what really helps.
Yeah, if you like a band, go see them live. Go buy a shirt, buy a poster or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they make their living, man.
Well, there's bands like these guys who put their heart and soul into, you know, their stuff. I mean, I only have quality people and quality bands on the show. I'm not going to waste you guys' time with, you know, people that just aren't ready for, you know, being presented to an audience yet. And these guys are very impressive. Like, seriously, like the tightness and the writing, the performances, the sounds that you guys, I mean, this is the kind of band that you should support live and that you should buy the music from, because these guys actually are giving you everything. They're not just going in the studio and just throwing crap against the wall and hoping it sticks and go, yeah, we don't care. We got attitude, you know. We don't. It's
Rock
like,
and roll.
yeah, it's like, you know, you need to grow up a little. You know, these guys aren't like that. They're perfectionists. They do a great job. And I
Sometimes
get it.
too much.
Well, I get it.
These guys get on me. They're like, "Come on, bro.
It sounds good."
The song is done." I'm like, "No, one more tweak."
No, I've been there, and I've you know, I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's nice when people actually appreciate the effort that you put in it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I can hear it right here. I can hear all the heart and soul, blood, sweat, and tears that's in your guys' music. You know, I really can. You're right down to the last detail, and like I said, with the back and forth that you guys are doing, I couldn't imagine either one of you guys working with anybody else. I mean, you guys literally are like, you know, perfect.
We're
match.
like family, man. Like that's the thing. Like even when we're looking for a new bass player, it's like, okay, like whoever we're bringing into the fold here, like we can't just like, oh, we need a bass player, so we're just gonna throw in some random person. Like we got to get along with this person. Like what if we go on tour, we're gonna be stuck in a bus or a van or whatever with this person for however long?
Yeah, it matters,
You
man.
know?
It matters, because there's bands that are out there making millions and they break up because they hate each other.
Yeah, we didn't want that.
So it's so bad that it's not even worth the millions of dollars to be on a bus together.
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't
nope.
know. I've hated some people enough to where
I've been there.
wouldn't feel the difference.
I have been freaking there.
Yeah.
I can write a book. Yeah. So, you guys ready for the next? What are we doing? Next two?
Let's do it, man.
All right.
So
So
2 in a row.
You want to do 2 in a row, or you want to do one? And
Let's do 1 and 1.
1 and 1.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
What's
government,
next?
right? Government of lies.
Government of
Let's
Lies.
go.
All right. So let's
They lie to you all the time.
give that a quick. Hell yeah.
We had a lot of content to work with on
Yeah,
this.
no doubt.
Yeah. I hear you. Both sides. It
Yes.
sucks.
Yeah, no kidding.
They all suck.
Seriously.
All right. So let me.
Could you maybe count? Yeah, try to count us in on this one, because it's
Yeah, we
it's
don't got a
goofy one.
timer, so the first
Yeah.
measure will be.
Forgive us if the intro is a little slack.
Yeah. It'll be my fault.
We'll blame it on
It'll
them.
be our fault.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's time to wake up and see what's inside. Live your life until you're flooded with lies. They're staring at you, can't you see that you're blind? To be a slave, you don't know what it's like. Don't ever lay down, see through the disguise. Manipulation, lie, divide. Cite the words, line for line, and only say it if it fits on a sign. So take your number and your place in line. Down on your knees and your last and why. You sold your soul to your government of lies. Now it's attacked and you'll never survive. Indivisible, individual. Stand up and fight for the cause. Individual, it's all a lie. Wake up, or soon we will fall. Down on our knees, saying nothing at all. It's all been planned, one at a time, to usher in the social divide. So take your number and your place in line. Down on your knees and your last and why. You sold your soul to your government of lies. Now it's attacked and you'll never survive. Indivisible, individual. Stand up and fight for the cause. Individual, it's all a lie.
Nice. I love that harmony at the end.
Thank you.
That was nice, man. Super, super cool, man. I love that. Man, nice job, guys. Freaking love it. You know, I got some questions here.
All right.
Yeah.
People are asking your tuning. What tuning are
Half
you?
step down.
Half step down. Most of these songs are in drop C. So
Yep.
Or C
sharp, sorry.
Yeah. So we're half step down, drop D.
Okay. So Nathan Cloud had it at E flat. That's what he thought. It sounded like.
E flat.
E flat
dropped.
for,
Yep.
yeah.
E flat dropped. Okay, nice. All right.
We have a couple songs that are in E flat, but I don't know if we're playing those tonight.
So,
Come on
good question.
Saturday, and you'll hear that.
Yeah.
So Costas Look asked me if I'm a Ibanez guy, will Majesty fit to me? Good question. So I actually was an Ibanez guy. Not only was I Ibanez, but I was Ibanez Prestige.
Ibanez.
It was quite good. Yeah, it was quite good. It's only for the affluent. No, I played the Ibanez Prestige S series, and I loved those guitars. I loved them. And so then I ordered a 7-string, and it came in with that pop-in whammy bar with the stupid bushings on it, the white bushings that wear out. Every time I went to band practice, I had to pop the whammy bar out, put it back in. After 3 of those, bushings went bad. Wow. And they're a pain in the rear end to replace, so and they're $2
Money,
a
too.
piece. You know, and it's like, dude. So I was so mad because my other Prestige guitars didn't have that crappy system. So I was like, I literally called them. I'm like, I'm sending this back. I'm sorry. And they're like, why? Over bushings? I'm like, yeah, because I don't want to freaking deal with this every freaking week. You know,
Yeah.
it sucks when you're about to go on stage and you pop your whammy bar in because you took your guitar out of the case, and it's
gotta
all
fix it.
floppy, and you're like, oh man, you know. So
Oh, dude, that's the last thing you need to be worrying about when you're about to.
is floppy whammy bars. Yeah.
It's gonna
So
be reliable. floppy whammy bars. Yeah. Who wants that?
yeah, in your 50s.
Hey, they have stuff.
Yeah.
They made some stuff. For
Yeah,
that.
so I
They got a
gave it.
bill for that.
I gave it the little blue pill, and it didn't do anything for it.
Yeah.
So
Little
any-
blue stamp. Send it back.
exactly. So what I ended up doing was I got so pissed. I literally was like, I'm getting an Ernie Ball. So I bought my first Ernie Ball, which was the JP15, and I've been hooked on their guitars ever since. And so now I have the Majesty guitars, and the nice thing about the Majesty guitars is you'll never have that issue with the whammy bar. Number one, you can tighten it with, there's a little set screw you can tighten it with. Number one. Number two, you don't have to take it out of the case because the case is carved out so that you can leave the whammy bar in when you close the case.
That is a godsend. What a
thought of
nice little
everything,
nifty
yeah.
feature.
All those little things, all that stuff makes a difference. The
Yeah.
truss rod adjustments right by the bridge pickup,
Okay.
or the neck pickup, I'm sorry. I mean, all that stuff. So, that's my long way of saying, would a Majesty fit you? Yes. I mean, I'm telling you right now, if you love Ibanez guitars, and I still think Ibanez makes great guitars, don't get me wrong. Love their guitars. If you play them, I totally understand why. But once you go Majesty, it's like, whoo. I mean, those guitars are just, they're worth every freaking penny. And
You
there's
can almost say they're majestic.
yeah, oh yeah. There's other people like JB 50 Watt can attest to that. He's in the stream with us, and I'm sure he'll agree with me on that.
And that's a brand that you don't necessarily think is synonymous with guitar, or guitars in general.
Oh, the Ernie Balls? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ernie Ball makes
Music Man.
some of the best guitars out there. Ernie Ball Music Man. I mean, they're just freaking amazing guitars. I love them. I got that Schecter upstairs, and I'm getting to know it. I'm going to do a video about that pretty soon.
She's pretty.
Yeah, it's a nice
beautiful
guitar.
guitar.
It
I
really
love
is.
Schecters, bro.
Yeah.
That's my jam.
That's his
Yeah,
jam.
your guys' guitars, amazing guitars. So really, it's all about what fits in your hands and what feels good to you and
Yeah.
sounds the way you want it to. But
Yep.
but he's asking like if he's an Ibanez guy, would he like Majesty? You would adore a Majesty, trust me. You would absolutely love it. So, excuse me, Carrie says I'm digging the music, and Sean Casey says this song rocks.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, the music's great, guys. I'm
Thank
spoiled
you.
because I'm sitting here just, and I'll timestamp this afterwards for all the songs, so when
Nice.
people tune in, they can just,
Sweet.
skip the blabbing and get to the
Get to the
the
rocking.
music.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear us talk.
So Johnny Romero's asking, curious to what tuning they are. Oh, okay, we covered that. Awesome song right there too. Okay, so
Thank you.
Thanks,
Yeah.
man.
yeah, so we did talk about the tuning real quick. It was E flat,
Yeah.
Well, C sharp
but
for
the D's
the
drop down.
thickest strong, but all I'm half step down.
Oh, okay. So everything's half step down, and then the E strings drop tuned a whole step.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So what is the next? Okay. So when is your guys' next show?
Oh, we have an upcoming show.
Yes.
Yeah, so
After all this time.
yeah. This Saturday at the
Planning this
Blind
album.
Pig in Ann Arbor, we are going to be releasing our next album. It's entitled Lie and Divide. We'll be sharing the stage with Creeping Chaos. Those guys are awesome. If you
Yeah.
haven't heard of them, man,
Yep.
check them out. We're going to be sharing with Vicariant. They're awesome.
Oh, I haven't heard them guys in a while.
Oh man!
Yeah.
And
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
and they're sounding good too, man. We were literally
Sweet.
just jamming some of their tunes the other day.
Wow,
man. And,
awesome.
Like they're just, you almost forget how awesome those guys
Yeah.
are, man.
Yeah,
So
they're
we're,
good dudes.
We're very happy that we got them on our bill here to help
Wish I
us
could
share.
be there. I
the-
gotta
yeah.
work.
I know, man.
That's why we brought this show to you. brother.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
And-
So
and yes,
Saturday,
you do.
May 21st,
Yeah.
Blind Pig Ann Arbor, doors at 7.
Yep.
I I feel like an idiot. I can't remember the
Well, you know,
Shadows something.
Yeah, and they're a kind of a last minute replacement. There was another band from Toledo that was going to join us, and I think they had a personal issue. So
No, their guitar player got in a car accident.
Yeah, I didn't want
broke
to
both of his legs.
say his business, but yeah.
Ouch!
Yeah, so say a little prayer for that guy.
Yeah, no kidding.
Ouch! Oh
Yeah.
my God, that
got
sucks.
Four great bands playing for you Saturday night. It's gonna be a good time, and sound the sound was awesome at Blind Pig last
Oh,
time.
was it?
Credit to Adam Wilkinson at
He'll be there
Blind Pig.
on
He's going to do
Saturday,
sound
too.
again. And
That's good, man.
We
Yeah,
requested
he's,
him.
Boy, is it
he's
hit and
badass.
miss around here. So yeah, if you
Yeah.
can get a good sound guy.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, no
Absolutely.
kidding.
Boy, I've gotten off the stage before where I wanted to take the whole sound system and cram it. Oh my God!
Trust
Like,
me, man.
do you even run sound, bro?
Yeah. Do you
So-
know what you're doing?
Yeah. Do you know what this knob does? You're a knob.
Yeah, we've
So
been there.
yeah, so I'm just going through the questions here. Oh yeah, how has your live gear evolved over the years?
Well, let's see.
Yeah, you
how
can go
many
first.
different amps have
How
we
much time do you
played?
have?
Yeah, no doubt.
We got
We've
time.
been, we've been a band for a long time. We've gone from like low end, cheap Marshalls and PV amps, solid state, to tube amps. I've played through Black Stars. He had a PV.
My first tube amp was a
Road
PV
King.
Valve King. Yeah,
Valve
that was the
King.
first
Oh, wow.
time I got a great tone. My first tube amp.
The Valve King.
Yeah, you
Hey,
know
we
about the
got-
Valve
Everybody
King.
had a Valve King.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
'cause it's like
man.
the only affordable. You know, we
Yeah.
were starving artists. Like,
Yep.
a tube amp, sure, Valve King.
Yep.
But
I'll
I
get
got
a
good
credit
tones out
card.
of that thing, man. Yeah. And talk about evolution, man. As technology has gotten better, you know, I used to be on the camp that said, you know, tube amp or bust. But as I started jamming in my basement, I needed quieter, you know, you don't want to wake the neighbors when you're in an apartment, stuff like that. VSTs on the computer, I'm like, okay, it's kind of there, but not quite.
Yeah.
And then, you know, partially seeing your videos on Kemper
Oh.
and Helix,
Oh,
man, it's
okay.
it's like, holy
Yeah,
crap! Like
game
these
changer.
are actually sounding right up there with
They are.
the tone that you can get out of
They
a
are,
tube amp. And so I went Kemper several months ago, and I'm not going back.
Well, we were talking about this before we went on the air, man. It's like the tube amps sound great, but you gotta lug all this extra gear around
Yeah.
to get like that extra 10% extra better sound, you
Yeah.
know. And it's like, okay, well, I can just bring this Helix. He could bring Kemper. We're plugging direct in. There's no noise
Got the
bleed. You don't got
in-ears.
all
Yeah.
that sound, extra sound on the stage. We got the in-ears now, so we basically just tell the sound guy, turn off all the monitors on
Yep.
stage.
Mhm.
I love that.
Just you focus on what sounds good. Make the audience enjoy the sound.
We got
We'll
us.
take care of
Dude,
us.
So
Yeah.
true.
And then let's go. And then you don't got all the extra amps. When you're standing up close and you got a 4x12
Blaring in your
blasting, like,
face,
okay,
yeah.
you're hearing that 4x12
Stage
and not
volume.
what the PA is putting through.
Yep.
What's, you know, if you got a good sound guy, he's gonna make it sound good. So
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
he or she, whoever, you know, they're gonna make it sound good. And we, you know, having our in-ears, we played one show with the in-ears, and as soon as it turned on and I started strumming my guitar, I knew right away, I was like, we are going to crush. It's
gonna be a good show.
It's gonna be awesome.
This is what we've been practicing with.
I remember
It sounds
that.
just like practice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he was like, "Oh, you sound so tight." I was like, "Well, this is how we practice every single day." So
Yep.
it's just there's no difference. So like every time you go on stage, it's like sometimes it sounds great, and sometimes I couldn't hear the bass, I couldn't hear the vocals, couldn't hear my guitar. There's always something you couldn't hear.
Right.
Well, these in-ears, man, I hear everything. It sounds awesome.
And that's literally like I'll speak on that a little bit too. That's a testament to why it's so important. If you're watching this show and you're in a band and you guys have discussed in-ears, just freaking do it.
Yes,
Because
best.
here's the thing. A lot of times people think that if I use in-ears, it's going to sound small and like crap when we get on stage. Dude, when the house kicks in, when the kick drum slams and you hit that big power chord,
You can still feel it.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You will get that rumble and that fullness, and you'll hear the direct, awesome sound, but you'll also hear the, the growl from the
Yeah.
house. It's
Yep.
there. So it's like playing in front of a freaking 27 T-Rexes behind you, just, you can hear it, you can feel it, and it's amazing, but it doesn't interfere with your your inners because they seal out, but you can still get that nice thud and fullness and warmth from the house. But The other thing too is you have, like what Justin was saying, you get a consistent sound. So the thing is when you don't use in-ears, every time you go to a venue, it's different. So you're literally like going up on stage and you're like, what's it going to be like tonight? How am I going to hear my voice? I mean, is my guitar going to be loud enough or too loud or whatever? So you're spending half of your set trying to find your way through this maze with the lights off, you know, and you're not going to run. You're going to be feeling things. You're not really performing. You're up there and your gears in your head are not on performing. They're about, this sucks. I can't hear this. How do I acclimate? Blah, blah, blah. By the fifth song, you finally you're like, well, this really sucks, but at least I found my way. You're not sprinting, you're not performing, you're not doing anything. You're just distracted with all the crap that you're trying to find your way through, as opposed to you bring your own mixing board that, I'm pointing at my mixing board right now, that you have fine-tuned for the last several weeks at least with your in-ears, and everybody knows exactly how everything sounds. Everybody's split all the hairs that you could split, and everything's perfect. So when you go on stage, that's the same exact thing that you're going to have. But not only that, you're going to have the rumble of the house mixed with it. And it's just going to be like, oh. Well, and to the testament, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
And the other thing I want to say is regarding the digital gear, not only is it more convenient, but I can tell you a quick story about when I was in the band with Carrie, and I'm sure if Carrie's still watching, she can agree with this. I had the idea one night where I was like, I'm still using the digital platform, but I want to bring one of my FRFR cabs on stage because I want to have a little bit more stage volume. Not for me, but for the audience, because I'm using in-ears. But it completely threw everything off because our in-ears were dialed in for a silent room. All of a sudden, her mic was picking up my cab and sending it right to her ears. And she was like, I'm sorry, but all I hear is guitar now.
Yeah.
So I had to nix that, and I don't blame her because, you know, it threw her off, and she, you know, had certain expectations when she went on stage with this is how things are supposed to sound. That's how important it is that you have, when you have your in-ears and stuff, do not ever perform live with something you haven't practiced with because one thing can just throw everything off. So
it's like taking a gun you've never shot into war.
battle.
You know, you're not going to do that. Another nice thing about the in-ears too is, like, if we turned this microphone off and we started talking, I would barely be able to hear these guys.
I know.
So when you're on stage and you got the drummer behind you and you know how it's loud.
Oh,
He's crashing those cymbals. It's like wearing earplugs.
Yeah.
And you can adjust the volume to how you want it.
Yeah.
So you can crank it up loud if you want. You can have it low if you want. So like at the end of the night, my ears aren't all beat up. And like, you're driving home and you're like, no music. My ears are beat up. No, like you're driving home. You're jamming tunes. You know, like your ears aren't worn down from you know all the stage volume.
It's a great point.
Yeah.
You
Well,
saved
and
your ears.
that's what going direct opened up for us, right? Because if you have a 4x12, you got an SM57 mic'd up to it. It's just that much more work if you're going to try to do in-ears. You got to almost be a sound engineer right there on stage versus going direct. You know, I got a 1/4-inch cable coming out of the Helix, coming out of the Kemper. It goes right into our mixing board.
Done.
And it's done. And like you said, we're hearing the same thing that our audience is hearing.
Yep.
Not just that, but we're hearing ourselves.
Yeah.
And when you can
Amazing,
hear yourself play, you play better. Like, who would have thought, you know?
I know.
Add all that up, not to mention one trip from the car.
I know.
I throw my backpack on, and I'm like, oh, I'm done. Like, I have my guitar, my Kemper.
When you
that's
guys
it.
showed up, you walked in the door, and that
One
was
trip.
it. One
Yeah.
trip.
One
Both
trip.
of you guys just set your stuff down, and it was like,
I mean, it's literally one bag.
yep,
That's
done.
it.
Yeah.
And a guitar.
And while you when you brought up the microphone, that really reminded me of something. So when you go on stage with an amp and a cab, what's the mic they use?
SM57.
SM57. Great mic. It's a workhorse. Great. No problem. But when we do profiles, we profiled the
Royer.
Yeah, we did the Royer 121 and the SM57 together.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that on
No,
stage.
not a chance.
You're just not.
Not a chance.
You
Sound
know?
venues are not going to put a Royer 121 on stage
There's
and
a
risk
special-
somebody kicking
Yeah.
it.
There's a special place in
Bunch of
hell for a
junkies
guy
on
that's
stage.
dumb enough to do that.
right.
So he's
So
got a
broke.
profile with an SM57 and a Royer mixed with it, which you can't get on stage. And that's what a profile is. It's the mic, the cab, the amp, you know, all in one thing. And you're taking that whole grouping of gear and including the microphones on stage with you. So you're actually going to get, in some ways, maybe even a better sound.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get an SM57 only. You're going to get whatever mic configurations you want. So that's nice. I'm not saying you shouldn't use amps on stage. I'm just saying that using a digital platform is not a bad thing. In a lot of ways, it's a great thing. And I'll be honest with you, look at all the amps I got. But if I was to do a show around here, I would not use my amp. I would use my Kemper. Because I'm not lugging all that stuff to a show. I'd have to get one of my cabs out from, get the mics off it and unplug it. I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You take a digital platform that you have dialed in that sounds really good to a gig one time. You're going to look at your amp and go, I love you. I will play you all the time at home, but
Right.
but you're stuck here. You're going to be a studio queen,
Right.
because I just can't deal with, and the thing is, you don't want to get your amp all banged up either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My amp's got all kinds of dents and scratches on it, and it literally there's my amp and there's all my guitars, and it's like, well, it's just kind of sitting there. It sounds great. Plug it in, it sounds fantastic, but at the same time, like I said, you're gonna get that extra 10% and break your back, and that's just how many more
nobody
cables
cares.
you gotta.
Yeah, nobody's looking at your amp going, oh, he brought an amp? That's 112 pounds?
They're not
Nobody
guitar
cares.
players. Most people are just fans of music. So
I've actually had people say to me, even in the live streams when I talked about digital gear before, like, you should bring your best. You should always bring your best to the audience. They deserve that. And I'm like, well, number one, no one has ever said, I'm going to this concert because he's bringing his amp. Nobody's ever said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not about that, and 99.9% of the people that are watching couldn't care less. As long as you're playing music they like and it sounds good, they don't care.
And it's hidden things. It's like bringing your best. Well, what about when you're in the audience and you don't have the 4x12 at stage height blaring, 4 speakers right at your face? That is your best, because you're getting a better and more enjoyable sound for your audience. Not to mention, as a musician, the stress of lugging in a 4x12 with a heavy amp, and then you got to set it up in 6 minutes. Sound guy saying, "Let's go, you're up, you're up."
Guitar right. You're still plugging in cables. I haven't tuned my guitar or nothing. Now my heart's doing this.
So are you performing your best now? After all that? I don't think so.
Probably not.
I would
Probably
be,
not.
I'd be all pissed off and stressed out. I mean,
your heart's going 100 miles an hour, then the lights hit, and it's go time, and you don't even have time to think about what really matters, which is putting on a good show for your audience.
So and there's lots of advantages to digital gear as well, because you're going to have more effects and more ways to change between patches and stuff, and you're going to, a lot of times with the analog stuff, and again, I'm not knocking on analog stuff.
I feel like we're like, digital or bust, but
look at my room. I got tons of analog stuff here, but I'm in a different situation. I'm playing here. So but you still are able to do more because it's easier to do more.
Flexibility.
You got the flexibility. You can switch to a clean channel and have 37 effects on it if you want. And you didn't have to buy a bunch of pedals to make that happen. So
and digital, it got a bad rep because it deserved it. 10 years ago, digital sounded like ass. I mean, it just most profiles, most modelers just weren't there, and so the community has 15 years of hate on a certain piece of technology, but things are a little different now.
Things have changed. They
last
really
few
have.
years, especially. It's been like, well, I mean that. He came in with the Helix, and he was playing the Helix, and I was playing the Black Star still, and it's like, well, they both sound pretty good to me, And then he was like, "Come on, do Helix, let's do in-ears." And then I brought the Helix.
He gets the Helix,
out,
and then 2 weeks later, I'm like, I bought a Kemper.
I had the Helix for a long time, but I used the 5-cable method. And plugged in I had a Black Star Series 1, 200 watts, got the MIDI in the back. And I was like, this is great, man, because now I don't got to do the pedal dance. I'm not hitting, changing, to overdrive 2, and then hitting delay, and then going to my wah pedal, and then I got to go back while I'm still singing, and remember when I'm playing, and remember to keep looking at the audience, not your guitar, so you got, it's just adding all these extra things. With this, it's just like, no, boom, one thing, done. Here's my lead tone, bam, I just turned on 4 pedals, different amp, different EQ, everything.
If you can get 90% of your favorite tube amp in your pocket, that 10% that you're losing is going to be made up for in all the stuff that we just talked about. The stress, the the convenience, the flexibility, and it's going to make you be a better performer, a better musician.
Now, if I was like Mr. Popular, famous guitar player in a big multi-platinum band, and I had like 2 roadies and
Jeeves, carry this amp in for me.
then fine, I would take. Oh, let me see what I'm going to take today. I'm going to take the EF34, and just for quibbles, I'll take the the Ingle Savage.
Yeah.
Hook it all up and call me when it's ready. And I'll come down.
I'll be
and
in the back drinking whiskey.
Yeah, I mean, if I could do that, yeah, exactly. If I could do that, I would totally do that. But we're all DIY people, and it's just not feasible. I mean, it's just like quick example. I used to have a '69 Camaro Rally Sport. Loved it, fast as hell. The thing was scary fast, loud, awesome. But am I going to take that to Costco and go grocery shopping?
Nope.
There's no trunk space. Right. I mean, where am I going to put all the groceries? I got to flip the seats forward. There's no AC, so by the time I get home, all the frozen stuff's melted because it's like a freaking hell back there. And it just doesn't make sense. Now, does it mean that I don't like the car? No. If I want to go cruising and I want to go race some people and have a good night on a cool night, I'm taking that, not the freaking, Escort, or the Escape or whatever.
You use the right tool for the job.
Exactly. Amps are for cruising. You want to freaking, come down here and set your hair on fire, plug into an amp and have a great time. Yeah. But am I going to take that amp to a local show, especially around here? Hell no. Hell to the no.
We went and saw Black Label Society back in November, and pretty much all the bands, with the exception of Black Label, obviously they got Zakk Wylde and they got Road Crews and mountains of, they got the whole wall of amps. But everyone, they were all using the Kemper. And like that to me was when I kind of like hit me in the face. I'm like, well, like these guys are playing in front of several thousand people and they're using the Kemper, and had they put their rack unit backstage, I would have been like, oh, I wonder if they're playing like a Mesa Boogie or something. Yeah. Like, no, they're playing the Kemper. Like, you can see it right there. It's right on their rack, Kemper, and then everything else just like wireless, and it's just like a simple setup, and it sounded great. And it's like these guys probably like, all right, just roll this thing on stage, boom, plug it in, boom, boom, boom. All right, you're good to go.
You know what? Those guys probably go through the same crap that we were just talking about, just on a different level,
Yeah, and sometimes, depending on the size of your tour, the length of your tour, you have to hire an amp tech to go on tour with you, And the thing is it comes down to, for us local guys, it comes down to convenience, But for a touring musician who actually does it for a living and actually makes money, now it's coming down to convenience that's also associated with money. Yeah. Because it's like, okay, we're going to make, all right, this is what our cost is to go on the road. Oh, but that's right, we got to add extra space, like an extra trailer to carry all these heavy pieces of gear and cabs and everything. Yeah. Oh, and we also need an amp tech, and we also need roadies. Oh my God, so what's it going to cost to bring amps? Oh, it's going to cost an extra, I don't know, maybe $500 a day.
Mm-hmm.
Add that up over 6 months.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? Amps are staying home.
Yeah. Also, another thing is, too, when you're traveling, these knobs are going to get bumped. And they're not going to be exactly like this. And then you have to remember wherever every single one of these knobs are. Not with this, man. You plug it in, you save it, that's it. It doesn't matter how much this gets bumped around and all these little knobs get touched. As soon as I turn it on and I hit my tone, it's the same tone.
Yeah,
so
consistency.
It's so
good point.
That is a good point. And between the Helix and the Kemper too, and I'm not a Kemper fanboy, even though I kind of am at this point because I've used it for so long. But the Kemper is not modeled by somebody that's sitting behind a computer desk, like an engineer, and they're like, okay, I'm going to try to replicate this amp as best as I can. Yeah. The Kemper is truly profiled. It is each individual Kemper, like you said earlier, is configured to the exact microphone combination, the exact settings that you had, and it's a snapshot in time of exactly what that amp sounded like through that speaker. And it's always going to sound like that. Yep.
And you have all the say you want over it. Let's do it again. I want a little more gain. Okay. Want a little more low end, a little more mids. Can we move the mics in a brighter spot and get more brightness? Yeah, we can do that. Can we change mics? Yeah, we can do that. So you can have the amp, cab, mics, settings, everything configured exactly how you want them. And then we capture it. And it's like, is that it? That's the one? And that's how it was. Chris was like, that's the one. I like this one the best.
Number 2.
Yeah,
we
number
did
2.
5 or 6 or whatever, and
Yep.
it was unanimous, dude. We were like,
yeah, we were both.
oh, that's the one.
Yeah,
that's
that's
I
the
remember
one.
that. Yeah, that was.
And then we
fun.
set up you brought your tracks, we set up your effects, and he just sat right here in the chair and listened to the studio monitors with all of his backing tracks. And we set up his delays, his whatever he wanted, and everything was like perfect. And it was like, okay, you're done, you know? And now he can take that with him everywhere he goes, and he doesn't have to worry about, you don't have to worry about anything. Like, you just turn it on, and you go. And I'm telling you, like, you do 3 shows with a really good, well dialed in, amazing digital platform. I prefer the Kemper. All the other stuff's very good as well. It's just my choice. But you do that, and then you come home after that, you're going to be like, yeah, I'm sold.
Yeah, we did
I'm sold.
one show. One. And I was like, all right, never again.
Yeah, because Carrie, you can attest to this. Carrie was always the one that came home after the show with me and followed me home and helped me unload all the crap into my living room. And here it is at 3 a.m. And we're like, she's handing me stuff, and I'm throwing it in the living room. Hand me the next thing. And we're out there for like 20 minutes. But, I mean, it's a horrible 20 minutes.
You're moving. Who likes moving?
Yeah.
Well, imagine moving several hundred pounds worth
it's
of
like
gear
we're
every
2
time
men
you
in
have
a
show.
truck, or a
Yeah,
dude and a chick in a truck, you know, and we've already spent the whole day performing and setting up and tearing down and driving and eating and whatever it is that we do, and I just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
You know, but instead I'm sitting here, you know, hauling gear into my house, and then the next morning I got to get up and put it all back away. With a Kemper and a guitar, you slap the Kemper on the floor, put your guitar away.
Yeah.
Get up the next morning, 5 minutes, you're jamming again.
I'm curious
know?
what your audience would say if we said, "Are you using an amp modeler right now for the musicians out there? Or are you using a tube amp?" You know,
Tell us.
Is it modeler or is it tube? Is it Helix? Is it Kemper?
What do you
Throw
play
it in the
live
chat.
with? Yeah, what do you play live with? And you know, just so you guys know too, like if you use an amp and a I mean, God bless you. I mean, I'm
Do what
definitely
you like, man.
I'm not against it. It's
Probably
just,
got better traps than I do. You know?
yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yes, dude, it's camping.
I am Arnold. I
thousands
do
of
not
pounds.
care about the weight of my amp.
They pick things up and put them
I am
down.
not a sissy gal.
Yeah, so I mean, it all depends on what you want to do, and like I said, if you use an amp and stuff, God bless you. I mean, seriously, I'm glad that you do. I mean, I don't mind hearing that stuff, you know, but it's just after a while, especially like I said, for the DIY guys like ourselves. I mean, if I play a show around here, I'll make $0. So the least I have to work for that $0, the better, without sacrificing quality.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to sacrifice
Yeah,
quality.
don't
by using a
sacrifice
Kemper.
your
Nope.
tone, your live set, and it's an investment. It really is.
Yep.
I was gonna say something real quick about the in-ears earlier. When I was looking into in-ears for this band, I was seeing videos on YouTube, and it was like, for $3,000, your band could have in-ears. For $5,000, for only $5,000, you can have in-ears, and you know, it's attainable for $1,000. It really is. You might not have a custom mix where your tone is different than what your singer wants, your drummer wants. In our band, we all hear exactly the same mix, so maybe that's a sacrifice for not spending the extra money to get to that level. But at the same time, I think it's a benefit because we all hear each other well, and it makes us tighter as a band. So it's not as expensive as you think to do some of this stuff.
I'm all about a good studio mix. I want to feel like my mix is like exactly how you'd hear it with the studio, except my guitar might be nudged a hair just so I can hear the details and all my mistakes, you know. But other than that, it's pretty much, you know, what I would want the audience to hear.
Yeah.
But sometimes vocalists, I know Carrie, she likes her vocals way up here, and the music is kind of a reference. Like, okay, I can hear the key, and that's all, and the timing, and that's all I need. But she wants to hear every breath, every detail of her voice, and she plays on those details. She maneuvers her voice in a certain way where she puts those details out there, and it's all purposeful.
Yeah.
So she needs to hear that so she can make sure that those details are coming through when she sings.
I can see that being important.
But you're singing with pretty much like what Justin's hearing is exactly what you're hearing, and you're singing perfectly. I mean, you're doing a great job. So it all
as long
depends.
as I can hear, like, am I in key?
Yeah, and then you're
That's
done.
all I need.
Yeah. So it all depends. Like Carrie's mix is more functional, where I think like the mix that we're listening to tonight is more enjoyable. You know what I mean? I like an enjoyable mix because I feel like I can perform better when I'm enjoying myself, where Carrie wants to hear all the details. So it goes to show where everybody's going to have something different. So if you are in a band with somebody who really needs something very specific, you might want to get a different system. But it still doesn't cost you a fortune. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like, it is attainable, but you all have to agree on, like, well,
going into it.
This is what it is.
Right.
You know? So sometimes you have that one outlier that needs to have, like, something crazy.
There's always one. Every band.
It's always the drummer.
But that's, you know, as long as it works, then definitely do it, you know? Let me read a couple comments here.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into the last song.
Let's do it.
Majesty has a painted neck. That's a different feel. So Johnny Romero, the Majesty has a painted neck. That's a different feel if you're not used to a painted finished neck compared to the Ibanez neck, or at least to me, anyways. I'm trying to remember if my Majesties are painted. I don't. You know what? I don't even want to speak on it because I don't even remember. That's how stupid I am tonight. Mm-hmm. I know my JP15 is the roasted maple neck, and that's smooth as hell. You know what I really like though is that new Schecter I got. That neck, it's like slick. You know, it's like, oh my god, I feel like it's ice.
Baby.
You know, wow, is that a nice neck? You know, let's see here. Does the Kemper have all the pedals in it? 6-string Brian was asking.
Good question.
It's a great question. Have you ran out of anything that you need?
You know, as I was researching the Kemper, one of the knocks on it was it doesn't have all of those options or as many of those options as some of its competitors, but the answer is no. I mean, there's a plethora of delays, reverbs, and the setup on the Kemper, it's not as flexible as the Helix when I was using the Helix.
Not as easy to...
But it's linear. So you got, your input, what goes before your amp, like, your compressor or your wah pedal or stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's got a block that's meant for that. And then you got your amp, your cab, and then there's post effects, and that's where your delay, your reverb, and there's 40, 50, 60 different presets.
If you can't find the effect that you need in the Kemper, then you're not looking hard enough. I mean,
said.
I would say that out of all the people I know, I use more effects than anybody that I know. I'm an effect freak. I love, look at my freaking pedal board. I mean, gosh, you could land a plane on that thing, you know? So I love effects and I utilize a lot of them. And I have never once had an issue with the Kemper where I was like, oh, I wish it had, it's got everything. It literally does. And the thing is I feel like the effects on the Kemper are very mature. Like, you can dial in on any delay setting. You can dial in a little bit of modulation. Mm-hmm. You know, you can dial in just a little bit or a lot or whatever, and you can even adjust the parameters of the modulation on it. I mean, there's just so much tweakability on it. And I love the flangers and the phasers, and I just think it's got everything.
Great, man. You know, it doesn't have 100 presets, so but
you don't
the
need
actual tones are there. You might have to tweak them a little bit, but what's cool about it is you get a solid profile that you love.
You're done.
And that's the majority of the work. Then it's going to be easy to find the delay, the reverb that works for you.
It's just like buying a good amp.
That's the fun part.
Just go to the store and buy all your pedals. I mean, where with the Kemper, get a good profile, and all the pedals are free. You just go in and pick whatever you want, and it's got overdrives, and if you don't like the overdrives that are in it, it actually has an effects loop that'll allow you to put an overdrive in the effects loop in front of the amp. You can move it anywhere you want.
Or you use a profile that had an overdrive pedal baked into it.
Yeah. Yep. So there's all kinds of ways around it. Yeah, it really is. So does it have everything that you need? I'll just say, and then some. And if, like I said, if you don't find what you need in there, you're nuts. I mean, it's got it all, you know. CS, Jarrod, why are you not at least holding the new Schecter tonight? Well, hey, I showed it off yesterday with my
nice little striptease for you too.
with my striptease unboxing.
Surprised that wasn't demonetized.
I know. It's upstairs blushing right now. It's probably gonna send me a Stay away from me letter. So let's see here. Joshua Stevens, he says, I like that AJ signature guitar.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
A big fan of this. You know, I've had guitars that have 2 volume, 2 tone, 1 volume, 2 tone, 5-way selector, and I found that this one, just 1 volume and my 3-way selector with EMG pickups, it just did it for me. Because talk about when you're on stage, there's too many things to think about. The simplicity of just having a select couple of things that you got to worry about was appealing to me. And I don't know if you noticed, this is also an Evertune bridge, which this is the first guitar, not the last guitar that I bought, but the first guitar with the Evertune bridge, and I became addicted. It's another one of those things that has a little bit of a learning curve, but just to have the confidence to know that when I walk on stage and I hit
it's in tune,
a massive chord, it's going to be perfectly in tune.
Those are nice.
Taking things off of my plate, I'm a big fan of. We were talking earlier about efficiency, and it's just one less thing you got to worry about.
Especially in the studio too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, geez.
100%.
And the thing I like about, I didn't even notice that you don't have a tone knob. Nope. How many people out there use their freaking tone knob?
Nobody.
I don't.
It's always at 100.
It's the stupidest thing to have on a guitar. It's like, why is that on there? In fact, while we're on the subject, I have recorded down here. I've literally done videos where I'm like, yeah, I nailed that take on that backing track when I'm playing along with it. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, something sounds off about my guitar, and I reach over, my tone knob's halfway down. I'm like, I gotta do it again.
Yeah. Sometimes more options is not ideal.
God, that tone knob has pantsed me so many times, and I'm done with it.
If you watch me play, man, you see me. I'm always constantly like, you're up all the way.
You're
all the way.
Yeah.
Volume and tone
it's
are
a
up all the
habit,
way.
isn't it? You just kind of reach down and make sure.
I've done it too.
Yeah, just one, man, and I want it far away. I had a guitar that had all your volume knobs are so close, and I kept hitting it, and I'm like, man, why doesn't this sound right? Oh, because I've been strumming and hitting the volume knob.
Yep. All those things, man, they all add up. Let's see here. Bruno says all of my guitars have painted necks, and 2 of them are gloss. I used fast fret. Yeah, that is actually a good thing to use on the necks, and I don't feel any bind at all. So if anybody feels the bind, just use fast fret.
I use that as well.
Or use, did it fall? Figures. There's a little white canister of something down here I use.
See KY jelly. Sorry.
Yeah, we're...
Is this a G-rated show? I just got you demonetized.
Mommy, what's KY?
Where did it go? I had this stuff down here. It's a powder. I put it on my hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I forget what it's called.
Kind of like pool players, were they?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, and you just rub it on your hand, but it doesn't scratch anything, and it doesn't leave any residue, and your hand will slide right off the end of your neck.
Really?
It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, because the fast fret makes your strings fast, but I've definitely had, you get a little grime or a little sweat on the meat of your palm, and then it's harder
this
to go up and down the neck.
This stuff solves that problem.
Huh.
It is amazing
I've
stuff.
never seen that before.
I have it right here all the time, and it fell. But I'll find it and show it to you. But yeah, you can use that too. Something Glide, I think. I can't remember. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, but I've used that, and that definitely does make a difference. So anyways, well, let's do your final song, right?
All right,
We want to do that?
Yeah.
So hopefully I got the right one queued up. I'm pretty sure I do.
This one has a guitar intro, so we'll probably be off to start, but
okay.
we're gonna do what we can.
So I'll count you in best I can.
Well, further away.
All right, 1 second here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'll never be fine, so lost anyway. I feel like I'm bound and chained like a slave. This time slipping now, ever farther away. I'll never be found. Does this pain really pay? I'll dig further down until I'm locked away. Yes, he slips on by further away. Don't ask me why. I'll take the blame. Yes, slips on by. I'm gone astray. Yeah, further away. Yes, he slips on by further away. Don't ask me why. I'll take the blame. Yes, slips on by. I'm gone astray. Yeah, further away.
Oh,
All
there
the
we go.
songs we're playing tonight are going to be off our new album. So check it out, May 21st.
Yeah, there's links in the description too for you guys. Like if you want to check these guys out, you click on that link and it takes them to everything, right?
Yeah, we set up a homepage that has a link to Spotify, has a link to Pandora, has a link to our YouTube page, has a
Okay.
link to, so it's just a one-stop shop. So that's in the description down below.
You're really organized, dude.
Well, thanks. You know what? Accessibility. I want
Yeah.
to make it as easy
Yeah,
as
make it
possible
easy.
for people to consume.
All of it's going
Yeah.
to be available the 21st. So if you go there now, there won't be anything. But 21st, everything's going to be up and going. So hope to see you either at the Blind Pig if you can't make it to
Oh,
the Blind
please come,
Pig.
please
Yeah,
come. We want to
come on.
pack
Yeah.
the Blind Pig.
Yeah.
So
Please
show
come.
up if you can. Say hi to us. Tell us you saw us on Tone Wars.
Yeah.
If you can't make it, then check us out the 21st, man. We'll be on Spotify,
Yeah.
everything. So whatever streaming platform you like to use, we're on it.
These guys are really professional. Like seriously, like I was shocked. Like you sent me all this stuff and like had it all like in a bundle for me on a Google. It's just I was just like, wow, this is amazing. This is the kind of professionalism that I like working with. I
Right
mean,
on.
it really when I see that kind of stuff and I hear that kind of music, I hear the production, I hear all that stuff. I'm like, here's a group of guys who deserve to have some success. You know what I
We
mean?
appreciate
Because it's
that,
like,
man.
Thank you.
professionalism is everything with me. I mean, you guys have been professional and through the whole bit. I mean, all the communication, sending me stuff, everything. It's all been just top notch. So, I'm very impressed with the professionalism, the talent, the heart and soul, and blood, sweat, and tears that you guys put into your stuff. I mean, the performance tonight was like, I feel like crap because like I make 8 billion mistakes a night when I play, and these guys are like, 2 guitar players singing all this stuff, and I'm like, all right, I got to start practicing some more. I mean, it's crazy. You guys are making me look bad.
Oh, whatever,
Oh,
dude.
no,
You're
man.
a fucking shreddy McShredder.
It's
I
all
love
right,
watching you
but-
shred, man.
No, it's cool, but I mean,
I
seriously,
appreciate it though, man.
Yeah,
it
you
means a
guys,
lot.
amazing.
Everything you said, dude. It means a lot to us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very good stuff. I got one other question that we
Yeah.
forgot to discuss real quick. We got a little bit of time, so what is your favorite piece of gear?
Ooh.
If you had to pick one thing.
Piece of gear.
This bad boy right
Your
here.
guitar? Okay.
All right,
Schecter C1 Platinum. I've replaced the bridge with a locking bridge and locking tuners, so it's not
I love
quite
locking
a
tuners.
C1 Platinum. It's a little, it's a little customized, but I bought this for cheap at a Guitar Center, and I've played several other guitars. Like, oh, this one's kind of cheap. Maybe I'll get something a little bit nicer. And I've spent, $1,000+ on guitars, and I always go back to this one.
There you go.
I'm like, all right, man.
Home.
It's a beauty. I've seen you play that for years, man, and it always sounds good. It's well set up. Always sounds awesome. You know what? I'm gonna give you two. It's an easy answer for personal use. The Kemper has changed my world when it comes to playing guitar. And then the second one, I would say, as a band, what changed a lot of the stuff that we're talking about tonight, specifically in-ears combined with it's sitting right over there, and we actually have the same unit. It's called the Line 6 Stagescape M20D, which is a mouthful, but man, that thing,
love that board
for a 2012 product. That's what we plug into. That's what allows us to have in-ears, and it's affordable. You got to get it basically secondhand now, but
if you can find one, go get it.
They're hard to find, but for $500, $600, $700, you can have a unit that will allow your entire band to plug in. And so if you're running direct, or if you're using amp modelers, you can run right into that, and then right into your in-ears, and
get 4 different mixes. 5.
Honorable mention. I didn't use it at all tonight. I decided to set it up, but I didn't use it. The Ibanez Weeping Demon wah pedal. You're welcome.
Yeah, that is nice.
Well, what's cool about it is it's got a spring in it, and it doesn't turn on until you.
That's how my Morley is. I'm all about the spring-loaded pedals.
Yes.
So it just opens up more, more options for you. So instead of like a crybaby, you gotta stomp on it to turn it on, and sometimes it turns on, and then sometimes you're stomping on it to turn it off.
It's off,
and it doesn't turn off,
and you might not notice it until 10 minutes later. You're like, damn, I've been playing with the damn wah on all the way up for the rest of the song.
I went full money for nothing for like 20 bars.
And spring-loaded wah pedal is actually a couple of songs that we've wrote wouldn't be possible without that. Like, we didn't play it tonight, but we have a song where during the chorus, I just, and it's just on, off. I wouldn't be able to do that if I had to push a damn button every time.
I do the same thing with my Morley. There's a lot of parts in my solos. I'm one of those guys that, I don't like to use something a lot. I'll interject it into the solos. Yeah. And with the Morley, or a spring load anyways, it allows you to just kind of, just for this little passage, I'm going to throw a wah in there, but I wouldn't have done it otherwise. And that's really what it comes down to with all gear. If you have gear that's really intuitive and easy to use, you're going to actually work that intuitiveness that's in there, and you're going to utilize that if you're smart, and you're going to let that, I can do that now? Well, I'm going to do that,
Yeah, so that's what's called a game changer. You might even not buy it with the objective of, hey, I'm going to use this to go during the chorus, but once you have it, you're like, I can actually be more creative now that I have this piece of gear. So
gear should allow you to be more creative.
Yes.
I mean, that's really what it's about. It should get out of your way.
Yeah. Accentuate your musicianship.
Exactly.
It is not defining your musicianship.
Yeah, that's really how it should be. Sean Casey says, you guys sound awesome and have great tone.
Oh, thank you, bro. Thank you. Saturday, May 21st.
Big number.
Yeah. Daryl McMillan sounds really tight. Great job, guys.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Well, guys, thank you all so much for joining us. I love doing the Shred Fest because I get to have a lot of my local friends on and showcase them because they deserve to have a good platform to play on. And I love all you guys, and I love to bring you guys great entertainment, and you deserve it as well. So I'm happy to do it for you guys, and I always learn something too, like and it's always fun hanging out, So
well, dude, coming from a band that's followed your work on Tone Wars for a long time, we appreciate what you do as well. We appreciate what you do for the community, getting gear new. Like there's a lot of channels out there that are hype based, and you are factual. You're to the point, and you deliver it in reality, not for publicity, I guess, for lack of, but you give us the straight stuff, and we appreciate
when you told us we're gonna be on Tone Wars, I was like,
dude, we were both like, cheers, gonna have some Tone Wars. And we had a great time, man. I know.
It's my pleasure, man. It's my pleasure. Seriously, it was a lot of fun. Scott Fulmer, thank you so much for the super chat.
Nice.
Great band, Scott. Great hang. He says, thank you, man.
Nice.
Johnny Romero says, very cool show. These guys, thanks guys, you sounded awesome. I would
Thank you.
definitely
Thank
check
you,
you
brother.
out live. So yeah.
Yeah, come on out
Yes.
Saturday. Come on
Right.
out, definitely, man. Tell us, like you said, tell us you saw us on Tone Wars,
Yeah.
man. That'd be
Yeah,
so cool to
like
see
to
you
see
guys
that.
out there. So
Yeah, a lot of these guys are all over the world, but if
Hey,
you're
man.
local and you're watching,
yeah,
definitely come
if you're
see
in
these
Michigan,
guys.
or if you're willing to make the trek out to Ann Arbor, Michigan, come on out, man.
It'd be worth it. These
if
guys
you,
are
if
really
you travel
cool.
out of state, we'll buy you a drink.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for watching. Really
Thank you all
appreciate
so
it.
much. Thank you.
Thanks
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, so this will be time-stamped later on tonight. If you want to come back and watch it and just check out the music, feel free to do that. And to all subscribers and Patreon supporters, thank you so much. Wouldn't have a channel without you. And if it's your first time here and you haven't subscribed, please do. And click the bell so that you can be notified every time I come out with a new episode or go live with awesome people like this. So, well, every day's a gift, and thank you so much for spending part of yours with us. I really appreciate that. And look for some more videos on the Schecter and some other stuff that I got working on. I'm working on. So I will see you all very soon. Good night. Love you guys, and we'll see you all soon.
Thank you. Thank you,
See
everyone.
ya.
God bless. May 21st. Check us out on Spotify, whatever. Come out the Blind Pig. Peace.
Peace.